It's all about the U, baby. Number 9, Miami heads to Blacksburg, Virginia to face off against our Hokies. Miami is one of our protected rivals, meaning that we play against them every single season, or at least every year they're in the ACC, which who knows how much longer that's going to be given that they're trying to get out of here. But that's not really the point. It's going to be a major challenge for us playing against a team who is currently slated to make the college football playoff. In the last episode, we played against Georgia Tech and Pitt, splitting those two games, and we really gave Georgia Tech a good fight. The same Georgia Tech team who beat Texas Tech earlier in the year, the only loss that they've taken this season. And then last week, they gave SMU a competitive game on the road, only losing by one score. We were up 21-7. We were in control the first 15 minutes. And then Clyde Poole got hurt. And everything fell apart. Nolan Roll was the first quarterback to come in, and his passer rating was in the negatives. He was so bad. Gabriel Iguanagu replaced him after, and he really was not much better. Georgia Tech ended up really capitalizing on the momentum on both ends of the field, scoring 40. We were able to get back to business against Pitt, who's been one of the more disappointing teams this year. In all 5 of the Panthers' losses this season, they've allowed at least 40 points. Clyde Poole, I thought, had the best game of his career. I've watched every snap he's played over the last 3.5 seasons. This was his most complete game. 4 touchdowns, roughly 500 yards of offense. He did not win the ACC Offensive Player of the Week, though. That was Nazir Ismail, who had 10 catches for 3 scores. And after the Georgia Tech loss, we called out Nazir Ismail. As a former 5-star, I felt like he wasn't really pulling his weight. We needed to see more from him. And boy, did he deliver against Pitt. I kind of hinted at it during the last episode, but I think all 4 of these weeks will each get their own separate episode because I want this series and the Browns franchise to be even in terms of the timeline. But obviously the Browns franchise just started, given that Madden came out a month after college football. So we're going to move things a little bit slower here, which I think is kind of a good thing because we're going to get to pay more attention to more games and more storylines across the country, because I still really want to get familiarized with all of these players, given that we're going to see these guys in the Madden draft classes, and many of them hopefully will be playing for our Cleveland Browns. One of the teams who holds a lot of future NFL guys is Miami, who obviously is on the schedule this week. We're going to have a lot of cameos during the game of guys on their roster who I think will make an impact at the next level. This Miami team is stacked. They are one of 2 ranked opponents on our schedule, the other being Alabama. Now, I think Alabama's a little better than Miami, but maybe that's not fair to the Hurricanes because they beat Alabama earlier in the season, 34-31 back in week 3. Their only loss coming in week 6, a blowout against SMU. And at the time, I was kind of concerned for Miami. This was a bad loss. But as we've seen, SMU is just that good. Currently ranked number 3, steamrolling everyone on the schedule. And since then, Miami's bounced back, beating North Carolina, NC State, that's a good win, and then Wake Forest. They have a tough schedule to end the year, including a big matchup in 2 weeks against Clemson. As we look at the ACC, right now it's SMU's to lose. They're the only team with an undefeated record in the conference. But in terms of point differential, Miami's the only team with them, with plus 181. Only one other team is plus 100. And then, of course, you've got us there at the bottom, even though our point differential is actually kind of high. So Miami's at 99 overall across the board. Their roster is loaded. And we're going to go into a lot more detail with many of these guys during the game. Graham Glikowski, the redshirt sophomore, leads the way at quarterback. More of your traditional pocket passer. He's having a really nice year. Their backfield might be the best in college football. Sir Micah Robinson averages 110 rushing yards a game. Nathan Wilson, one of the most versatile weapons in the country, ran for 1,500 yards last year. This season, they're using him more in the slot at wide receiver. Out wide, they have 98 overall Marquise Maryland, the highest rated receiver in the game, but he's been disappointing this year, only 50 yards a game, and he broke his foot last week in the win against Wake Forest, so we will not get to see him. Maryland started the year red hot, including a 4-touchdown performance against Colorado. He's really slowed down, and the injury certainly does not help him out. So it'll be Joshua Finney and Tyre Goley who lead the way at wide receiver, along with Nathan Wilson. Their offensive line, again, might be the best in the country. They've only allowed 7 sacks all year. And then defensively, they are loaded as well, particularly at linebacker. A lot of really intriguing playmakers. They've got a deep secondary. I think the one weakness with their team is the defensive line. They don't really have that alpha pass rusher, but they still have a good group. We've got a couple of visits as well. Deshaun Rawlings and Clayton Peppers both visiting the campus. Rawlings, of course, the big name. He's a top 50 player nationally, and we need a good visit from him because North Carolina and NC State have built a nice lead on him. We're rocking the orange jerseys again today because all of the fans in the stadium are wearing orange, or at least I hope that's Virginia Tech orange. I hope the Miami fans, they didn't flood our building. Kind of weird to have the orange game when we're playing against a school whose main color, or one of their main colors, is orange. But whatever, we'll roll with it. Virginia Tech's main rival, of course, is the University of Virginia, but we've got a number of smaller rivalries in the ACC, the biggest of which is with Miami. As I mentioned earlier, they are one of our 2 protected rivals, along with Virginia. So as long as the Hurricanes are in the ACC, we'll be getting to play against these guys every single year. And with that loaded roster that we went over earlier, that's going to be a really hard game every single year. And as I mentioned previously, we're going to really dive deeper into a lot of those guys throughout the game. Virginia Tech starts with it. Poole on the option with the juke move. Crossing up the senior corner, Colson Clay. And Virginia Tech's looking pretty good early here in the opening couple of minutes. Already past the 50. Jontre Hickson wide open. 15-10. Tries to hurdle the defender. He cannot. He was able to jump over a defender for a touchdown in the Georgia Tech game a couple of weeks ago, but the play was called back because Clyde Poole threw the ball past the line of scrimmage. Nonetheless, it gets us near the goal line as Poole keeps it on the option, and he will dance his way into the end zone. What a start for Virginia Tech against the number 9 team in the nation. 7-1 Miami. This is how you set the tone. Marching right down the field. A really impressive opening drive from the red-hot Clyde Poole, who has been outstanding when he's been on the field over the last couple of weeks. Glukowski keeps it on the option, slides forward past the 50. He's not known for his mobility, more of your traditional big 6'4" pocket passer, but he can sling it as he connects with Joshua Finney for the first down, wrapped up by the true freshman Smoke Lewis, making his first career start out wide at corner. Little over halfway through the first quarter. Play action. Glukowski connects with Sir Micah Robinson. Spin move inside the 10. What a play by Robinson, the redshirt sophomore, who's become one of the best backs in college football. He's big, he's physical, he's exciting. He does lack the launch speed that I think will ultimately keep him out of the first or second round of the draft. But this guy's a baller. Started his career at Pitt, where he was pretty good. But he bet on himself to Miami, where he's averaging nearly 110 yards per game this year. I mean, this guy's been a superstar for the Canes offense. I don't think he's going to win the rushing title, but he has a chance to finish in the top 5 to 10 in terms of rushing. And more importantly, as a redshirt sophomore, he is draft eligible. And I could easily see him being a top 100 draft pick at minimum if he decides to leave school after this season. Miami on the goal line. It's going to be an RPO. Short pass caught by Tyre Goley. Breaks the tackle into the end zone for a touchdown. And Miami ties it at 7. Who leads this Hurricanes team in receiving? It's not 98 overall Marquise Maryland. It's not 94 overall Joshua Finney. It's not their standout running back Nathan Wilson. It's actually Tyre Goley. The redshirt senior has waited his turn at Miami, where he was a backup for 3 years. A rotational player last year, finally gets to be a starter where he has been excellent. And his chemistry with Graham Glukowski has been notable. As the screen is blown up, Colson Clay brings down Ashwell Virgo. 3rd and 7, Trevor Adams does not get the first down as he's wrapped up by sophomore safety Norrance Walnut. Miami gets it back late in the quarter. Play action for Robinson. Glukowski looks to throw it. Picked picked off! Darius Penny with the interception, and the Hokies get it back at the 30. Our defense has needed to get a takeaway. We only had 2 interceptions as a team through the first 8 games of the year. Finally, we get one. It's Penny, the junior safety and team captain, who's able to turn around in midair and come down with the ball. Virginia Tech gets it back. Great field position as Mark Armstrong loses a couple. It's Bryce Slater, the senior linebacker, who brings him down. Not the biggest, only 5'11". Not the fastest, but this guy's a really instinctive player who, like Tyre Ghali, waited his turn at Miami. I kind of see him as a 4th to 5th round draft pick who just kind of sticks around in the NFL for a while. We ended up getting a first down, though, a couple plays later. Poole under pressure, cannot escape. It's James Joseph, the sophomore, who brings him down, and that'll wrap up the first quarter. Knotted up at 7, I've got to say, pretty good start. An impressive opening drive. We get the interception by Darius Penny, and we're in position to potentially regain the lead. So far, we're hanging with one of the best teams in the country, but we've still got 3 quarters left to go. To start the second, it's 3rd and 8. Poole looking up the middle. Hickson, juke move. First down. Good play after the catch by Jontre Hickson. Clyde Poole starting the game 9 of 9. He has not missed a throw yet. 2nd and goal. Poole under pressure. He cannot escape. It's James Joseph again, joined by the senior defensive tackle, Caleb Jamison. 3rd and goal. Poole scrambles, goes short. And that's only a gain of a few. It's Ahmad Slayton who hauls it in at the 10. 28-yard field goal try from the left hash for Ashton Lemon, who still has not missed a kick all year. His kick is good, and the Hokies are back ahead 10-7. I wish we could have gotten a little bit more off of the interception, but hey, we have the lead, and we'll see what the defense can do here on this next drive. Glukowski looking to rebound after the interception. He'll hand it off. Sir Micah Robinson cuts to the outside. Robinson quickly met at the 30 by Noah Singleton, but an impressive run nonetheless. Now a 2nd and 9 with a man in motion. Glukowski looks to throw it under pressure. He's sacked. Xavier Haynes leads the way, joined by Carmen Drake, who's amongst the ACC leaders in sacks with 9, winning the rep against the star left tackle Adrian Pena. Glukowski lobs it up. He's picked off again. Justice Watkins on the return past the 30. I don't know why he's running backwards. That's back-to-back possessions. The Virginia Tech defense comes down with an interception, doubling our total on the year within the span of 5 minutes. For Justice Watkins, that's his 2nd of the campaign, and all of a sudden, we've got a chance to make it a 2-score lead. 1st and goal. Poole, who still has not thrown an incompletion, goes for the end zone. It's Brandon Marbury for the touchdown. And what started off as a good opening quarter has now turned into a real upset alert. Virginia Tech leads 17-7, and Miami's got to respond with the 2 early interceptions by Glukowski. On 2nd down, he looks to throw it. Holy sweet mother of Jesus. That went 95 yards. Graham Glukowski, the redshirt sophomore, has had a really good season as the starter at Miami. I don't think he's going to leave for the NFL, though. He doesn't really have that standout trait that I think scouts are going to love, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for Miami because he played well when he was in the game last year, making 5 starts. He's been good this year. Granted, his interception total is added by 2 in this game. But he's a good player who I think Miami is going to be able to keep for the next couple of years at quarterback. 3rd down and 8. Glukowski looks to throw it up the middle. Broken up. Big hit by Watkins, who had the interception on the last drive. And Virginia Tech gets it back, looking to add to the lead even further. Poole scrambles on the run. Gets a block from Marbury. And is out of bounds with the 1st down. He took a big hit there on the sideline, though. Poole looks to throw it on 1st down, wants it all. Ishmael won his rep, but it's overthrown. 1st incompletion of the game for Clyde Poole. He was 12 for 12 before that. Poole fumbles the option on 3rd down. Cabrera scoops it up. Good job by the freshman running back to pick it up. But a bad play there by Clyde Poole. nearly costing us valuable field position. We'll have to punt it away anyway. Miami gets it back. 3 to go in the first half. It's play action. Glikowski under pressure, and he is eventually sacked. The sophomore, Braylon White, brings him down. Our pass rush has been good so far, considering how good this Miami offensive line is. Glikowski is just going to keep it on the option. They don't trust him to throw the ball on third down, and he's quickly wrapped up by Carmen Drake. Virginia Tech has it back with a 2-minute drill, as that one is hauled in by Marbury, shy at the first down marker. Miami gets the stop. They'll call time. They'll get it right back. Pivotal drive for the Hurricanes as Glikowski floats it up the middle. Joshua Finney's got it. Down the field. 15, 10, 5. All the way to the 1. A huge gain for Finney as he gets 65. The redshirt junior has everything that NFL scouts drool over. 6'4", 210, 4.4 speed, dynamic after the catch, runs every route in the route tree. But he's had a disappointing season this year. He hasn't really been able to get chemistry with Glikowski, only averaging 50 yards a game, and he's scored just one time, with Tyre Gali taking many of his touches. First and goal, Glikowski, Superman dives into the end zone for a touchdown, and Miami brings it within 3. They needed this drive badly. Their offense has been shaky today. Graham Glikowski has not had a very good first half, but he gets the rushing touchdown. Miami might be back in business. 14-17, we'll see what Virginia Tech can do with 42 seconds and 3 timeouts. Miami's playing full prevent defense, so we're going to run the ball, get basically a free 10 yards for Esteban Cabrera, and we're going to hurry back to the line. I want to hold on to these timeouts for as long as we can. 2nd and 10. Poole looks to throw it, scrambles up the middle, runs for the first down, sliding past the 50. We're going to use a timeout. Poole looks a little bit slower. One of the hits he took on the last drive really seems to be bothering him, and he's going to have to play through the nagging injury. Under pressure, has Virgo open, and we're going to use timeout number 2. Good job there by Clyde Poole to scramble around. He was able to keep Ashwill Virgo open, and a good play after the catch by the freshman running back. 13 seconds left. Poole up the middle. It's hauled in at the 10 by Nazir Ismail. I want to hold on to that timeout to potentially center a kick if we need to, or use possibly after, say, a sack. So we're going to have to run this quick. There's 6 seconds left. Poole scrambles, looking for the end zone, and he is intercepted! James Danielson III picks him off, the senior corner, with the play in the end zone. Danielson's another guy who I don't think is going to be a first rounder because of the lack of physical traits, but I think he's going to be a really good value pick on day 3. 5 interceptions last year. This season, quarterbacks are not throwing the ball his way as much, but Clyde Poole does that time, and it backfires. In hindsight, we probably should have just used the timeout, because even if that pass was incomplete, there maybe would have been a second left on the clock, and we would have, I guess, kicked a field goal, but we really cut it close there and should not have rushed it. Otherwise, though, a good first half. We have the lead, and Clyde Poole overall has been really good. He is 15 of 19. He is outplaying Graham Glikowski, 154 yards, touchdown, and an interception for Poole. Glikowski, 128 yards with a passing and rushing touchdown, along with 2 picks. It's weird because I feel like we left a lot of meat on the bone, leaving some points on the board there at the end of the half. But I shouldn't be that disappointed because we're winning against the number 9 team in the country. Yet I feel like this team is capable of more than what they showed, especially over the last minute of the first half, not just with the interception, but allowing the late touchdown. Miami starts with it in the third, looking to add to the momentum as Golly's got it up the middle. Good golly, Miss Molly. He brings it to the 45. Good start to the drive here for Miami. Glikowski seems to be getting more comfortable as the game goes along. As Sir Micah Robinson loses a yard, that's Jensen Diglio who brings him down. 2nd and 11 now at the 45. They'll go to Robinson again, and he is stopped once more by Diglio. 3rd down and 12 now for Miami. Glikowski will look to throw it this time. Surveys the field. Under pressure, it's broken up. Finney cannot hang on. Good play there by Justice Watkins, who's been all over the field to jar it away. So we get the stop there defensively. We'll see if the offense can keep things going. Poole scrambling. Cabrera stumbles and gets the first down. Good job there by Esteban Cabrera keeping his footing. Poole on first down. Scrambles around. No one's home. And he will not outrun the defender as it's Malik Saylor with the sack. He's a little bit banged up after the play. Saylor's another guy who's waited for his turn on this Miami team, but he has broken out this year as a senior. Started his career at the University of Georgia. Last season was supposed to be the breakout year for him, but he got injured. Now this year he's been healthy and he's been really good. 14 TFLs and 8 sacks. Third down and 14 now. Looks like it's just going to be a screen for Virgo, and he gets around 4. Wrapped up by KT Stevens, who's hurt on the play. I think Stevens is going to be the highest drafted defensive player on this Miami team. The concern with him is that he's undersized. 6'1", 220, but he's a really fun playmaker. He can cover, he can stop the run, and he's a major blitz threat. He has 5 sacks this year, and he's drastically improved in coverage. Allowed 26 catches a season ago. This season, only 7. I think his rapid improvement is going to be something that NFL teams really take note of and really like about his game. So Miami gets it back. Both offenses starting the third quarter slow. Up the middle, Ghali again. Gets it past the 50. This kid, Tyre Ghali, was not supposed to be that big of a piece on the Miami offense, but he's been great all year, and that includes today. Glukowski goes short for the tight end, Augusto Duarte, who does not get the first down. Wrapped up by Corbin Roll, and Miami's just going to punt the ball away. So we'll get it back. 3rd and 11, halfway through the third. Poole joined by Virgo again in the backfield. Scrambles to the right side. Under pressure, flag on the play as it is broken up. That was not the best decision to throw that ball. I think this one is going to be on the offense holding against Brandon Lee, so Miami's going to decline the flag. Neither offense getting anything going in the second half so far. Clyde Poole's injury clearly affecting him. The offense does not look the same with him banged up. Looks like it's going to be a screen. Here's Ghali. He's wrapped up past the 50. Another big play for Tyre Ghali. Miami moving it nicely, looking to tie it or take the lead on this drive as Glukowski connects deep down the field, and Miami gets it inside the 10. A big play by Andre Fanguppo. So now Miami has it in the red zone at the 11. On first down, looking to take their first lead of the game. Ghali, the motion man. Nathan Wilson gets the handoff of the block. Spins his way into the end zone for a touchdown, and Miami takes the lead. Nathan Wilson is a really interesting player. I think he's going to be a top 100 pick this year because of his versatility. He is a really fascinating backstory. So he was recruited to Miami to play running back. He's big, he's physical. He doesn't really have the launch speed, though, to stick at the position. He's got good explosiveness, though. He's got good short area quickness. And he's a really good route runner. So Miami's put him in the slot this year where he's been really impressive. Got to keep in mind, though, he ran for 1,500 yards last year. He was a dominant running back. They get Sir Micah Robinson in the portal, who just so happens to be even better. But they still want to use Wilson as a big part of the offense. So they move him around. They play him a lot of wide receiver where he's been really good. And I think with his versatility, NFL teams are going to really like the production profile that he brings to the table. Virgo slammed in the backfield by Caleb Jamison. He's had a nice game. That'll make it a 2nd and 12. Poole looks to throw it. Scrambles to the left side. Looks to run with it. He looks a lot slower with whatever this injury is, but he's able to scramble for the first down to the 40. I give Clyde Poole a lot of credit. He does not look right out there, but he's toughing it out for his teammates. 3rd and 4. Scrambles to the right. He'll run for another first down with a late block from Hickson. Now that Miami has the lead, we really feel like we have a sense of urgency here on offense. Poole dances around again on 3rd and 9. Tries to float it up, but it's broken away for Marbury, and we're going to have to punt it again. Miami's got it back. Under a minute left in the quarter. Fake the jet sweep. Robinson breaks the tackle. Good physical run by Sir Micah Robinson. That'll wrap up quarter number 3. They will not get another playoff. Not a great quarter for us. Our offense was non-existent. Clyde Poole's injury seems to be getting worse and worse the more amount of snaps he's in there. We'll see if Miami can get the win, hold on to their top 10 ranking, hold on to their current playoff spot. They've still got work to do. Only up by 4. This game is not over, despite the fact that we don't really have much momentum. Glikowski's pass is caught. Good grab by Joshua Finney for the first down. Quickly hit by Smoke Lewis as Miami gets the first down. Their offense has been in a nice rhythm overall here since about halfway through the second quarter. But Robinson's going to lose yardage. Good tackle in the backfield by Colby Cook, the standout freshman. Now 2nd and 14. Glikowski looks to throw it. Has plenty of room in the pocket, but he's chased from behind and sacked by Jensen Diglio, who's had a great game against this elite Miami front. I would have expected Drake or even Geronimo Rodriguez to be in the backfield, but no, it's been Jensen Diglio against future NFL tackles. 3rd down and long. Glikowski takes a shot in the pocket. That's Drake in the backfield delivering the boom. Geronimo Rodriguez was there as well as Virginia Tech gets it back. 2nd and 5. Poole scrambles to the right, on the run with a bullet to the 50. Nazir Ishmael hauls it in for the first down. Where's that been in the second half? The booth would review it, but I think he clearly was in bounds. Not only was that throw perfectly on the mark, but excellent footwork by Nazir Ishmael. He got both feet in. That's an NFL catch. Big play for Virginia Tech as it is a 3rd down and 2. Poole looks to throw it. He's got Hickson open, but it's intercepted. Colson Clay picks it off, and Miami gets it back. The wear and tear clearly affecting Clyde Poole with his throw power and accuracy ratings going down. That was the right read. Hickson was wide open, and if that throws on the money, that could have been a touchdown. But his pass was severely underthrown, and Clay, the senior, comes down with it. A huge addition for Miami this offseason in the portal. Clay had 11 interceptions in the first 3 years of his career at Auburn. He really is the prototypical white defensive back. He's not the fastest, he's not the most athletic, but he's a good tackler, good in run defense, gritty, tough, physical. As I mentioned earlier, elite ball skills during his time at Auburn. Only 1 interception this year, but that's because QBs are not testing him as much. I see Clay as another late day 3 guy, but I definitely see a world where he sticks in the NFL. Miami has it back, 2nd and 4. Robinson with it, bounces off a blocker, and there goes Sir Micah Robinson. Down the field, tracked down at the 15 by Cook, but not before gaining 47. That play showcases Sir Micah Robinson to a T. Really good running back, does a great job of finding the hole, but he doesn't have the launch speed to take it all the way. Wilson with a big first down conversion. He only got 2 or 3. Miami nearing the end zone, looking to make it a 2-score lead with 5 minutes to go. Robinson walks the red carpet, untouched into the end zone for a touchdown. 21 unanswered for Miami, and the Canes are in business. They lead 28-17, and now our offense has got to get rolling fast. The problem is it's not going to be easy with Clyde Poole's injury getting worse and worse. Scrambles to the left side. Poole will run for the first down. We've got to be careful with him taking hits. He's probably 1 or 2 away from being taken out of the game. And Lord knows we do not want any of our backups to play after the Georgia Tech fiasco. Poole takes a shot on 3rd down. It's incomplete. Look at the wear and tear effects. Clearly impacting him. We're going to have to go for it here on 4th down and 9 with a little over 4 to go. Poole up the middle has Nazir Ishmael wide open. Big play for Ishmael as he gains 28. And that'll keep the drive going for Virginia Tech. Under 4 to go. Poole hit as he throws. That one is caught. It's Ishmael again. He gets it to the 3. Another 100-yard game for Nazir Ishmael, who has had back-to-back really strong performances. Under 4 minutes to go, Poole calls for a switch at the line here on 1st and goal. Looks like he's joined by Virgo in the backfield. Mark Armstrong has not played at all in the second half. The doctors have kept him out of the game as he's been banged up seemingly all year. Short throw, Virgo thrown down for a loss of around 3. We're going to keep going tempo. Time is not on our side. Now a 3rd and goal. Poole looks to throw it, and his pass is dropped. Jontre Hickson had it in his hands, but it's jarred out by Colson Clay. We're going to have to go for it again on 4th and goal, or are we? Field goal makes it a one-score game, but we're this close. I feel like we've got to punch it in right here. Flag on the play. Poole, end zone, touchdown! Diving grab by Hickson. It's a touchdown for now. And the flag is on the defense and offsides against Danielson, so the touchdown will still count. And now we're going to have to go for 2. I imagine Miami is expecting us to run the ball here. They're not expecting us to make Clyde Poole throw it. Clyde Poole is a wreck. That's exactly why it would probably make sense to catch him off guard and throw the ball. Poole calls for an audible at the line. He will look to throw it. Looking for Marbury. It's broken up. Hickson had a chance as well. 28-23. We've got a big decision to make. Do we go for the onside kick or do we trust the defense? I really thought about the onside kick, but I think overall our defense has played well enough to trust them. And it's not like there's a minute left. There's still 3.5 minutes on the clock. Big drive for Miami. Obviously, they've got a great rushing attack with not one, but 2 of the best backs in the country, as Nathan Wilson only gets around a couple to start. Darius Penny brings him down. We're not going to call our timeouts quite yet, as on 2nd and 7, RPO. It is Finney who gets a couple of yards, but not much more. Geronimo Rodriguez brings him down, and that'll make it a 3rd down and 7. He didn't get anything on that play. So that will probably bring us to the 2-minute warning. Game clock is ahead of the play clock. Oh, they snapped the ball! And it's caught by Duarte. Why did they run the play before the 2-minute warning? A boneheaded decision by Graham Glakowski. He should have just waited for the clock to expire. So we get the 3 and out. We don't have to use any of our timeouts. And there's still 2 minutes on the clock. Clyde Poole's going to return, looking to lead the game-winning drive. This would be his most impressive feat yet as he connects with Ishmael. We've got a flag. Holding on Emmanuel Fraboni, getting some snaps at left tackle. Kingston Carter got dinged up on the previous drive, our regular starter there. With how banged up Clyde Poole is, if he leads us to a game-winning drive, you guys will not be allowed to say anything bad about him ever again. He connects with Marbury for a gain of 19, making up the yardage from the penalty, and then some. Clock is moving, 1.5 minutes to go. 2nd and 1. Virgo on the screen gets a block. Quick 1st down for Virgo. That's his 6th catch of the game. Virgo in motion. He'll line out as a receiver on 1st down, still holding on to the timeouts, as we'll go right back to him. Virgo again, juke move. We're moving the ball nicely so far. We've been able to get a couple of good plays, haven't had to use a timeout yet, and we've still got a minute left on the clock. 2nd and 5. Poole rolls out to the right, under pressure. Wow. You have got to be kidding me. That is how we're going to lose the game. A big man pick 6 for Miami. It's Montrell Coleman, the defensive tackle, who catches the interception off the tip and takes it to the house. Clyde Poole takes yet another hit, an unlucky turnover, and Miami leads by 2 scores. That is about as depressing of a way as we could have lost this game as possible. I decided to make the executive decision to take Clyde Poole out of the game. I feel like we are risking his well-being and his health by having him out there. And now that it's a 2-score lead, what's the point? Akeem Okafor, the true freshman, connects with Trevor Adams. That's his first career pass as a college football player. Okafor with 37 seconds. Scrambles around with room to run. He will get the 1st down. Good run by the 3-star recruit. He'll look to throw it again here on 1st down. Has Adams open, and he's out of bounds at the 35. Okafor is moving us down the field pretty nicely. I figured I'd bring him in here rather than Roll or Iguanagu, given how bad both of them were against Georgia Tech. Look at Hickson fighting for yardage all the way to the 7. What a play by Jontre Hickson. I kind of figured we were just going to end the game on this drive with Akeem Okafor, but we're moving it down the field. Marbury gets to the 1 with 3 seconds left, so we'll have enough time for one more play. It's not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things, as Cabrera does not get it, and that'll do it. Miami wins it 35-23 on the road against Virginia Tech, and the upset bid falls short. The Canes improve to 8-1 on the year. I know we lost this game, and it's especially disappointing because we had chances to win. We led 17-7 at one point, and this might sound a little bit cliche, but this is the most proud I have been of our team all year. This was a complete dogfight against the number 9 team in the country. We gave them everything they could bargain for, and we left everything on the field. Clyde Poole, the perfect example. He was battered and bruised, but he stayed in the game. He did throw 3 interceptions. The last one, not really his fault. The first 2 definitely were, though. The bad interception at the end of the first half, and then the underthrow in the fourth. Got a shout out to Keem Okafor, though. He looked good. Maybe we've got a surprise competitor in the quarterback battle next year. Poole was solid on the ground. His best runs, ironically, was when he was injured. Nobody else was good in terms of the backs. We struggled at the line of scrimmage. Mark Armstrong in particular, who did not play in the second half. It's been a tough year for him with all the injuries he has sustained. Through the air, Nazir Ismail played really well again, him and Hickson, combining for over 200 yards, while Marbury and Virgo each had 7 catches. The offensive line was not great. I will say, though, I'm honestly pretty pleased with the defense. I know we allowed 35 points, and I know Carmen Drake was kind of quiet. He wasn't bad. It's not like he was horrible, but he was quiet. Jensen Diglio was good, though. We had the 2 interceptions by Penny and Watkins, and I feel like on a play-by-play basis, we were pretty solid. Graham Glukowski was not that impressive. He missed some throws. The coverage was good. We had the 2 interceptions. So Michael Robinson was held in check as well. I know he averaged 7 yards a carry, but other than the 47-yard run, he really wasn't that impactful. This is a guy averaging 110 yards a game. Nathan Wilson was quiet. He had maybe 30 yards from scrimmage. I think the big problem, though, was Golly and Finney getting the ball in space. They were really dangerous after the catch. I don't think it was the fault of our corners, but more so Glukowski was able to exploit the broken parts of our zone coverage. So that's really where those guys were able to get going. But otherwise, I thought the defense actually had a really good game. Unfortunately, we do not get the win despite a really valiant effort. That certainly hurts our chances of landing either of the guys who we had on the visit. We kind of needed to get the upset if we wanted to get Deshaun Rawlings. We're probably going to have to guess his pitch. Luckily, there's only one that fits him. So we are going to put that on him. I don't know if we really have a chance for him, though, regardless. NC State and North Carolina are ahead of us, and they both have visits upcoming. For Peppers, I'm a little bit less worried, even though Alabama's going after him pretty hard. But honestly, for Rawlings, I don't know if it's worth it. I feel like we're too far back. I know he's a really good player, top 50 guy nationally, but we've got a similar player with Niles Colclaw, who I think we're going to get. This is our big recruiting battle that I think is finally going to wrap up between us and Arizona. Arizona seems to have a little bit more influence on him, but we've got the lead already, and I would say there's roughly a 70-30 chance we get him. He really wants playing time, which we're an A+ for. Ironic, because I actually don't think he's going to play a lot. I think he's kind of raw, but I guess we can make him think he's going to play. Otherwise, not a whole lot of news to go over recruiting-wise. I think we're going to get R.J. Jordan this week. I think we're going to get Ian Cloud as well. 2 really good 4-stars. We're going to start to really go after Carlos Ware, 3-star corner. Syracuse and Pitt want him. I think he's really good. We started to put some points into him a couple of weeks ago just so we could get the early lead. Let's simulate the week. We've got some fun games on the slate that we'll go over shortly. But first, we do get some good news on the recruiting trail. Niles Colclaw does commit. We get him over Arizona. Really competitive battle, but we swoop in and are able to land him. One of the highest ranked players on the board, top 60 player in the country. I think he's a little bit raw given his recruiting ranking, but I like the athletic skill set, and if he can add some weight, I think he could be pretty good. Ian Cloud, 4-star corner. Clemson made a push late, but we had a good visit with him last week against Pitt, and we're able to ultimately land him. We don't get R.J. Jordan yet. Hopefully we will after this week. We've got a couple of guys who have narrowed their list down even further, including 5-star Tyron Dutton, who I think we're going to get. For a while, I didn't know if it was going to happen, but we had a great visit with him in Week 9 against Pitt as well. Who had Vanderbilt at 7-1 on their bingo card? Not me. Well, they're about to face a real test against number 4 Ole Miss. And Vanderbilt gave a valiant fight, but it was not enough. The Ole Miss offense is just way too good. These guys are one of the most complete units in the country. That's Cedric Carter, his NCAA leading 21st rushing touchdown of the year. And that's not to mention their quarterback, Zarius Stone, who I think is a first-round lock at this point, is in second place for the Heisman. Stone is just so consistent, he's so reliable, and he's got a ton of weapons with Carter, who's a touchdown machine as just a sophomore, and plenty of good receivers as well. Jimmy Fontaine completes only 44% of his passes, while the running back Craig James averages less than 3 yards a pop. Missouri heads to Tennessee facing off against the Vols, and it was a huge day for the Tennessee offense and quarterback Kamari Fisher as he threw for, get ready, 8 passing touchdowns. Tennessee wins it 59-29 against the Tigers. Missouri's been disappointing this year. I thought they'd be better than the 3-6 record they currently hold. A little bit of everything from Caden Almanza, very similar to his performance against us, minus the interceptions. As for Tennessee, as you all probably know, their playbook in this game is cracked. A big reason why I manually switched their playbook. After this game, though, I was wondering if that was still working, so I went to see the coaching schemes in the playbook, and the correct playbook is in there. It's still the new one. And then the game crashed, which makes me think Tennessee's got some voodoo magic. When they win the national championship at the end of the year, we're going to go back to this as to why they did. We'll stay in the SEC, checking in on the Florida-Georgia rivalry, which matters a little bit more for Georgia quarterback Hoppy Reynolds, who started his career at the University of Florida. He was their starting quarterback as a true freshman, transferred to Georgia, where he's been over the last couple of years. So as you can imagine, Florida fans do not like him. They're going to like him even less because he helped lead Georgia to the win. The Bulldogs hold on to their top spot with this touchdown by the standout redshirt freshman wide receiver, Sir Odiah Noble. 31-19, Georgia with the win over the Gators. Their true freshman quarterback, Mayer Stokes, was pretty inefficient, completing barely 50% of his throws. As for Georgia, Hoppy Reynolds honestly was not that good for his standards, but Georgia still gets the win. Sir Odiah Noble's leading the way. He's the current frontrunner for the freshman of the year and will probably be the highest projected non-quarterback in next year's way too early mock drafts. One of the guys he'll be competing for, a spot in that mock draft with is Clemson quarterback Nick Eberle, who leads his team against Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets coming off a valiant effort against SMU. Now another really tough game against Clemson, and it is the Tigers who win this game with another strong showing from Nick Eberle. I kind of figured this would happen to Georgia Tech. I think they're a good team. I just don't think they match up with SMU and Clemson, although both of these games were closer than I expected. Eberle playing well again, though. Clemson started the year off rough, but they're playing some good ball. If they sneak into the playoffs with 3 losses, I would not want to play against them. Michigan and Nebraska, really interesting game for the Cornhuskers, who are 7-1. They've only lost 1 game, but they've had a really easy schedule. Their next 3 Big Ten games are Michigan, Penn State, USC. Let's see if they're for real. Well, they ended up passing the first test, and they did so with flying colors, blowing out the Wolverines in dominant fashion, 31-14. Nebraska appears to be the real deal. Elijah Pyle, meanwhile, with 3 interceptions. Michigan losing back-to-back games, their playoff chances taking a big hit. And what's interesting about Nebraska is early in the year, I thought it was Tamario Harold's team, and it still is. But the rest of their team is really good, too. Temple and East Carolina, 2 of the top small school teams in the country. ECU currently in second for that Group 5 playoff spot, only behind San Diego State. Of course, we've got all these great quarterbacks across the country, but this guy, Julian Hero, the Heisman frontrunner for plays like that, connecting with Matthew Murray in the back of the end zone. ECU wins at 42-36. Hero holds his top spot on the Heisman list. And San Diego State ended up losing, which means ECU is now the 12 seed in the playoff. Temple's got a really good quarterback themselves, Maxwell Logan. I think he's going to enter the portal at the end of the year, and he will be one of the highest sought commodities this offseason. We'll wrap things up in Big 12 country. Texas Tech, number 14, against number 18, TCU. 2 of the most dynamic offenses in the country. And I feel like Texas Tech is really getting hot at the right time. Colin Westwood, the junior quarterback, has really settled into his own, connecting with Jordan Newton in the end zone. TCU put up a good fight, though, and they really didn't fall in the rankings at all, only dropping 1 spot. Texas Tech wins 38-34. This kid, Carson Mayfield, is good. He's only an 81, but he plays like a 91. He is awesome. As for Texas Tech, 4 touchdowns for Colin Westwood. The Red Raiders really bought their team. They had a huge offseason with the transfer portal, landing wide receivers Caleb Hops and Jordan Newton, both of whom have been inconsistent this year, but they both had over 100 yards in the win today. As for some other scores, number 7 Penn State beats UCLA. Penn State has flown under the radar, but they've had a really good year, and they're going to have a huge game next week against Nebraska. I'm really curious to see how that one unfolds. USC plays against the Cornhuskers in a couple of weeks. They remain undefeated at number 2. Notre Dame over UConn. Brendan Holloway was good, but not great. Feels like Notre Dame's kind of in a cold streak. Oklahoma State and Arizona State take care of business. Another 50-point outburst from SMU. Ohio State over Washington. Arizona's now ranked. South Florida creeping up the rankings. They're kind of that second group of 5 team behind East Carolina. I hope those 2 teams rematch in the American Athletic Championship game. Syracuse over Central Michigan. We play at Syracuse next week. That's kind of a good win for them. Central Michigan's good. Why is every Virginia game so high scoring? They score 44 and lose against Florida State. And then across the rest of the country, Southern Miss and James Madison, 2 teams we had high expectations for early in the year, both 7-2. San Diego State loses to Colorado State. Not a good loss for the Aztecs. They had that last spot in the playoff this week. Texas, after their 3-game losing streak, blows out South Carolina. The Gamecocks fall to 2-7. Oregon rebounds. They score 52 against Rutgers. Ducks still under 500, however. And then LSU has really gotten hot. They beat Texas A&M 55-6. It's too late for LSU to make a playoff run, but they're playing some good ball. Not a ton of movement in our polls this week. Tennessee jumps Arizona State, interestingly. Of course, Michigan drops quite a bit. They are now out of the playoff after back-to-back losses. Nebraska, the first team out of the playoff, because remember, ECU holds that 12 spot. Nebraska controls their own fate, though, at Penn State next week. If they win that game, they certainly will be in the 12-team field. But for now, they are the first team out. I really feel like as we continue to move forward in the season, the more excited I get about this playoff, because I feel like in the Kansas Dynasty, there was always a weak link or 2 in the playoff. I think all these teams are legit good. Interestingly, they have South Florida as the 12th seed, not East Carolina, which I guess makes sense. South Florida did beat ECU earlier in the year, but both of those teams still control their own fate, and I really think they're each going to play against each other again in the conference championships, 2 of the most explosive offenses in the country. Ty Godot and Garrison Shashere win the Players of the Week. Trent DeGora and, of course, Montrell Coleman win it in the ACC. As for the Heisman watch, not a lot of movement. Hero and Stone hold the top 2 spots. Holloway, Wells, Chesney each climb up 1. Kieran Riddle out of the Heisman race because his team was on bye. I wanted to look at the rest of the Heisman list. Interestingly, USF receiver Jalen Davies-Landiner is there in 5th, ahead of Scarborough. I think Scarborough, Riddle, and Reynolds all probably should be higher than where they are. And as I look through the rest of the awards, I figured we would see Carmen Drake in here. He is in 10th for the Lombardi, but he was not the only player represented. In the Unitas Golden Arm Award for the top senior quarterback, Clyde Poole is in 8th. He's ahead of Isaiah Timpf from Stanford, who's going to possibly be a 1st or 2nd round draft pick. I was a little bit surprised, but pleasantly surprised to see Clyde there on that list. So next time around, we've got Syracuse. We're 4-5. We've got to make sure we make a bowl game. And our last 3 opponents are feeling the pressure as well. They're each 3-6. A lot of exciting storylines across the country I'm excited to follow along with as well in the next episode. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.